Hello, everyone. My name is Kieb Harris. I'm one of the newest members with becoming a program manager here with Empowered Aging Ombudsman. So it's a pleasure to be here with you guys now. A story that I wanted to share stems back also from the beginning of my work here nearly 3 years ago. With being put out into the field, into the territory of Alameda County, I came across a particular resident where I received an SOC. And as I read the SOC, it grabbed my
I'm sorry, can you explain what an SOC is real quick?
yes, an SOC is a formal complaint that we receive from a facility, a family member, or an outside party with concerns or issues due to quality of care, neglect, or exploitation.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So, with going into this particular case, I read it and it grabbed my attention immediately. So I remember going out to this particular facility to see this resident, and I was taken aback by his appearance. In that moment, I remember feeling somewhat scared and frightened and very heartfelt because of how he appeared. Now, this particular resident served in the military for over 15 years for our country. He also went on to pursue higher education with receiving his PhD. From there, he gave back to our community here in Alameda County, where he served as a property manager for several properties, low income properties, that is, for the community here in Alameda County. Um, while being in one of his facilities that he was covering at the time, a fire broke out. And so, him being the program manager, he followed all of the protocols to get all of the families out of the building. Once all of the families were out of the building, he realized that there were two other families stuck in there. So, him being the hero that he was, he ran back inside and risked his own life to save two other families to bring them to safety. With doing that, he suffered second-degree burns, which caused him to have massive strokes, which also gave him a speech impairment due to the difficulties of his skin. So from there, he transitioned into skilled nursing facilities. From there, he was treated very poorly, he expressed. Now, let's remember his communication was very impaired. He couldn't express himself due to his inability to effectively communicate verbally. So, as he tried to express his concerns into the facilities, he was oftentimes looked over, never heard, never made to feel important. His independence was snatched from him. So, from there, I got myself involved and I sat down with him and asked him what would he like to do. And this conversation took roughly 2.5 hours just to get a full story due to his speech impairment. But I dedicated that time to him. And within that conversation, tears began to roll from his face because he hasn't felt that sense of compassion and being heard in years. So from there, I said, hey, let me integrate myself into this and let's schedule a care conference. Now, a care conference is something that we do in the field where we get all parties involved to discuss the issue so we can come to a healthy resolution for both parties. So remind you, this care conference took place and it almost extended to 4 hours. Now, typically care conferences doesn't go that long, but this one did because of his speech impairments. So I made sure that he had the opportunity, the canvas, and the floor to express himself. And so with doing so, you would think that he had crazy expectations or crazy needs or things like that, but it wasn't. His only need and desire was to move to another county to be with his stepdaughter, a young lady in which he raised his entire life from a previous marriage. That's all he wanted. So from there, we were able to get the parties involved from a different county to get him transferred and to get him set up. And I shared this one because a lot of us, when we think of a hero, we may think of someone who comes from a Marvel story or someone personally that we know in our family. But this particular resident stood out. So when I think of a hero, I think of this particular person who risked his life to serve other people. And so I keep that in the mind every day, and I implement that here with some of my staff in our program to be a hero because you never know who you can save and always go back for that one. So I just wanted to share that one with you
That's
guys.
a beautiful story. I don't know about any of the rest of you or anyone watching, but I am covered with goosebumps right now. And this is a perfect example, Kiev's story, Charmaine's story, about why we're doing this work, why it's so important for people to feel represented and to feel heard. and to be able to share their stories. I thank you both for so far for sharing these incredible stories. And